What is up, guys? Zan from the Madden YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to be showing you a audible down trick that you guys can use to run my brand new wing stack offense out of the Pittsburgh playbook. But before we get to the video, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys take the time to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads coming your way here on the Zan Madden YouTube channel. If you guys want to take your game to the next level, Madden 21, check out my strategy site, gridirongameplans.gg. Gridiron Game Plans is your one-stop source for all things competitive Madden. Every week in our Vault update, we take a look at the meta, or the most effective tactics available used by competitive players in the pro circuit, showing not only how and why they do what they do, but breaking down how to counter what they do. That way you guys are equipped to use the meta or abuse it when you face it in online head-to-head gameplay. On top of that, your subscription also includes any and every offensive and defensive game plan released on the website while your subscription is active. So not only those weekly updates, but any big game plan I drop included at no additional charge. Right now, that is our Washington football team offense and our 4-6 defensive game plans, and our brand new, just released this past weekend, Pittsburgh Steelers wing stack, all included on top of that $9.95 subscription. So head over to gridirongameplans.gg. So much content there on the website dedicated to keeping you on top of what's going on in the Madden community. Okay, guys, without further ado, let's talk about today's video. We're going to be in the Pittsburgh playbook, kind of a precursor type formation to the actual breakdowns that are on the site. Again, you can get a full breakdown of the wing stack, which I think is the best equipped to beat man coverage formation in the game as it pertains to stock routes, but it's also a great formation to actually bomb any and every coverage shell deep. So whether or not they play man or zone is not of consequence. So we're going to go ahead and show you something that is in the tight doubles. Now, what you'll notice is that in the tight doubles, I actually put in a second tight end. The reason that I do that is if you go 2 or 3 formations to the left in your audibles, you can get into the wing stack without much movement. So you could basically line up in something that is a very good shotgun formation in terms of the passing concepts. I think the Pittsburgh tight doubles is very slept on, just for the record. And we're going to show you a couple tips here today. In particular, this particular play, the shot fade wheel. And this play is really dynamic. I think that this is a play that gives a ton of problems to zone coverage. It really doesn't matter what zone coverage you're in. It's going to be something that press alignment doesn't guard. To me, you're going to have to set underneath zone depths to even have a prayer of a chance at stopping this route that I'm about to show you. So again, the play is called shot fade cross. I believe I said shot fade wheel, but it is a playbook specific play here in the Pittsburgh tight doubles. And what we're going to do here against this is we'll start this off against your cover 3. As we all know, most players tend to press their coverage, whether or not it's man or zone. Typically, if it's man, they're going to be playing a shade over the top type of approach to kind of give you that look of, hey, I'm going to play press coverage, make you have all those underneath routes, and then you kind of load up, on trying to beat the press. And what they do is they shade up over the top. So they kind of play that cat and mouse game with you. And then when they drop zone out of it, it's the same type of deal. They're showing you that press look to make everything look the same. But we're going to kind of show you here how this works. What I like to do with this play, shot fade cross, is, again, this offense that I run is going to have slot apprentices at the wide receiver spots. So when I audible into the wing stack, I have 2 slot apprentices. So these guys will get extra routes no matter what. So I typically will put one of my receivers on a crossing route. I will streak one of my tight ends. And then your other tight end that is actually a slot receiver, he's kind of a freestyle player. You can put him on, underneath routes. You can put him on hitches. If you think they're in zone, obviously you could use kind of a spacing concept where you have a hitch and a flat to pull down the zones and allow the crosser from Evans across the field. You could go ahead and flood to the wide side of the field. If all the zones are dropping back on the route that we show you with the motion, you could check it down. The B player is a wild card, as is the right bumper. So you could run kind of like a Texas trail combination where you send the tight end in the seam, and then you drag this player underneath, and then the Texas route not only follows the drag route, but also stays underneath the streak. There's a lot of different zone stretching concepts you can do with these three players. But typically speaking, I do want the tight end on a streak. And if he's not on a streak, I'm going to streak the B receiver because you want to run off the coverage on the short side of the field. And we'll get to that here momentarily. When it comes to the actual attraction of this play, it's actually going to be this this fade. I think I called it a wheel earlier. This little motion route is going to be open because what happens is press zone drops off of this really quickly. And this is going to allow you to kind of throw the ball right here to the sideline. You see that if you have the pass lead ability or the gunslinger, it's going to allow you to fit that throw in a spot that an outside third cannot get to. So this time I'll go ahead and show you what if I shade my coverage from purple zones into cloud flats. You're going to see a very similar effect here when it comes to this play. So let's say that you're running kind of a Texas trail combination on the check down to the backside of the formation. We motion this out. If you get this throwing window, you take it. I mean, you see this outside pass lead, you're throwing it right there very, very easily. So they're going to have to drop their zone depths on the outside to make this work. Now you're probably asking, what if we play outside quarters? So we go ahead and show you the outside quarter right here, where we'll play press alignment here. Outside quarters do drop a little bit more slowly. So if you were to see right here that they were doing, you know, this route against you, you go to an outside quarter. And you see right here, it kind of hovers in that area. And that does a far better job. But then what you end up with is that trail or that Texas route to the running back that breaks over the top to the outside. And that's why I like this check down type of play. So this is kind of a progression read in which you are going to look hard at number one off of motion, make them make an adjustment to this. If they don't, it's there all day long. So right here, they make the adjustment. Now, all of a sudden, we start to glance to our underneath. We can take our drag right here in the flat, which, you know, you could have thrown basically right here and been able to get, you know, probably 6 or 7 yards. Or we use the drag to pull down the purple zone and we throw what this route is, which is our number 3 read. We throw it as it breaks out over the top of those zones on the sideline. So your primary read becomes a pull route. You use your secondary read to pull underneath, or you can hit your check down if the blitz is there. You glance up to this player. And last but not least, you look to the backside to this route, which is open, which again, we talked about how you need that vertical stretching route to either the B receiver or the tight end. You see right here, Gronk releases vertically. That's going to pull the deep zones here and allow you to fit this throw over the top to this crosser. So that is the benefit of this offense here. You have those 2 slot apprentices that really make this offense go. And you see right here, let me show you another example. If I were to streak B, it's kind of the same effect. You go ahead and drag Gronkowski. You do kind of a similar drill here. Here against off coverage, you snap it, they drop off the ball, you throw this ball outside. Very simple pass lead, you pick up 20 yards. Very, very easy. Anytime they're in zone coverage, you're going to take that throw. So again, we'll go ahead and show you what if they play the outside quarter on that side. Well, if they play the outside quarter, we know now that we have the other routes on this play that get open. So this time we'll switch up who's vertical. It's still drag, Texas route, streak to the backside, but it's the same effect in terms of how the progression goes. You see X isn't open, you go ahead and glance, you can hit the crossing route. So you see right there how that Texas route stopped. If the Texas route stops, you glance off of it and you go to the backside read. So again, we'll go ahead and go back to the original route combination where, as I mentioned, these 2 players, Gronkowski and Howard, are interchangeable. We'll go ahead and re-streak, drag the B receiver, and Texas route the running back out of the backfield, which this offense does have a backfield master. I think any offense should. So again, we motion out, we'll pretend X is covered. You glance off of that, your check down is B, and then you have right bumper, and then you have Y. So you go ahead and throw that ball away. That is your progression read on this. That's just one setup. You know, if they were to be playing a heavy dose of this, you know, this cover 4 on the outside, just as it pertains to this player, that's going to open up so much more in this offense. So again, right here, you kind of see how, let's just say your center fielder right here stays home right there. You might go ahead and once you recognize that this player on the outside is dropping more slowly, maybe start to get into the habit of maybe trying to fit a fade or go with the kind of a double seam approach where you try to stress, you know, the center fielder on this play as well. And then of course you still have your checkdowns here. So you kind of see if you have one of those pass lead abilities, you might be able to kind of fit this ball into Evans on the backside. You see right here, that's your throw. You know, so you put them in a spot where okay, if they don't want to give up 20 to the outside receiver, they have to set their zone drops to cover it with a purple zone or a blue zone underneath. But if they want to use that outside corner to do it, you know, a lot of players aren't going to give you the center fielder tell. They're going to leave him in center field right here. If they want to go ahead and play a guy on the outside in a quarter zone, like we saw with Nelson, to kind of respond to the route that we've been motioning, that's going to significantly open up the seam route, because again, we're talking about how that player is essentially dropping more slowly to stay in the throwing lane of Godwin. That's going to allow Evans to get outside into that seam. And again, once you see him past that, you just throw this ball right here and you're going to be out. So again, that's how this progression works, is you kind of key in what adjustment are they making to stop this particular motion route. And once you realize exactly what they're doing, you're going to kind of play off of that adjustment. So, you know, and that's just one play. You could go ahead and run, you know, a number of plays. For instance, this play tight curl. You know, if they're playing a lot of this cover 3, you could go ahead and go with something that kind of looks like this. You've got this little short out breaking corner route. This is very similar to a tight end corner route from a Hot Route Master. You see how it's you know, it's not quite the Hot Route Master corner. You see right here how that corner breaks. If you compare it to the stock one on this play, tight curl, there's another, you know, it's kind of smoother, a sharper breaking cut. And that's going to allow you to, you know, you could motion out and then hit that little break right there. Obviously you want to throw that a little bit later, just depending on what type of zone they're playing. You've got a different way to attack with that motion on the outside. So this is just the cusp of what this offense could be. This is just one play, for example. Another thing that I really like about this particular play is that if they're playing any type of cover 1, you have really good potential for the route that we have on this play stock to Godwin to actually beat man-to-man coverage. And once it gets behind, from time to time, you'll notice how you're able to throw that ball to the X receiver if he gets the right release animation. So that's something that I use this play for as well, is if I notice that they're playing a lot of man coverage, especially with no deep half, if they're playing any of this purple zone safety stuff, you kind of use this route if you have a good release. This is very similar to the route that I broke down out of the Patriots offense from the slot, where this kind of fade wheel route can get really, really solid releases from time to time and try to, you know, bump open. So you'll see it. You'll definitely see it from time to time. And of course, you have a nice little crossing route as well that beats man coverage on this play stock. So this play is well equipped to kind of give problems to your opponent. And of course, you know, if they're not respecting it, if they're playing any type of crazy, you know, spread D-line, 3-down lineman type defense, and they're not respecting, you know, the run, you can always hit them with, you know, the base out of this, which, you know, you could always use motion, kind of lead block, especially if they're not following in zone. This gives you the opportunity to run the ball as well. So again, just kind of showing you a play that can get you into the offense, has the potential to serve as kind of a decoy scheme. And then you get down into the actual offense that I broke down out of the wing stack, which of course gives you lots of options. You know, when you're facing cover 3, whether it be cover 3, cover 2, cover 4, man coverage, you're going to be able to, you know, kind of assert your will over the top of, you know, a lot of these zone coverages. So definitely go check it out on the website, gridirongameplans.gg. Full scheme out of the Pittsburgh wing stack. We got updates planned to come out over the next month. It probably 2 updates, I think, we're going to be getting in there. Just some other stuff that you can audible into out of that scheme. But here's something that you can use as kind of a mini scheme to start a game and see if your opponent can stop it out of zone or man, and then get into the real offense, which I think is kind of what we teach, is having your base offense, but then having those little mini schemes off of it that you can either audible to or you can audible from to keep your opponent off your scent. If you guys like the video, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. Any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, drop those below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys with our next upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.